last week we talked about arpeggios and how to modify them and make them fit a chord or a progression or suggest maybe a chord or a harmonic structure just through the use of single notes. And I said I was going to do a bit more about that this week, but I decided to do something new, so we'll get back to that at a later time and we'll have another session on that. But for now, let's talk about slides. Slides, I like to think of them as a expressive technique more than a sound generating technique. Let me clarify that. I always see the guitar as, you know, built on different levels, or at least guitar playing is built on different levels. The strictly physical one, which is the first one you practice, and then you can always add layers of expression and, you know, getting your techniques really perfected and then use them proficiently, and your theory as well. So I like to think maybe alternate picking, sweep picking, hammer on and pull-offs, those are actual sound generating techniques because you need them to generate the sound. If you play CD like that, well, you need to produce that sound. And then I like to think of vibratos, bends, slides, for example, or whammy bar if you use it, as more of an expressive tool, because you can have these two notes, but it will sound very different if you do something like that. And these techniques have to be, you really have to have a reliable understanding of these techniques so that you can use them, you know, whenever you're improvising or composing or just playing with other people. And you can't just be second guessing your, you know, if you're playing a B and you want to go up to a C, you can't go like, well, you know, I wonder where the C is and hope that you get it. So you really have to know what this C will sound like, and then you have to be able to get it spot on by the same exact frequency. And so, you know, you have to really work on your expressive techniques just as much as you have to with the other basic techniques such as alternate picking and such. So today I'm going to show you, give you a bit of advice as to how to develop your slides, and maybe as a, you know, shortly how to use them in your improvisation or composing. Alright, so first of all, you can just start with a very simple exercise. You need to do slides on all four fingers, and we'll see later why. Basically because you never know where you're coming from and where you're going. Because if you're improvising, you should be able to just go, oh, I'm on an F, but I want to play a B. And you have to be able to slide, and depending on the position you're playing, you'll be on the second finger or the third finger or the fourth. You never know. So first thing you do is just pick a note maybe in the middle of the fretboard, you know, fret 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever you want. And starting with each finger, you go up one fret, and then down one fret, then 2 frets, like that. Oh, I'm missing the 8. There it is, 7. And you just go up and down like that with one finger. Then you do it with the next finger. And you just keep going like that. And you do it with all the fingers. And then you do it on all the strings. The next exercise, just you do octaves. And octaves, let me get closer to the camera for this. Alright, so when you play octaves, you have to do it like this. Pick a note anywhere on the fretboard, look at your destination, which is 12 frets higher because you're playing octaves, and just do it really fast because you don't want to do this. Right, you don't need to practice much to do that. So you have to go 1, right, and then slowly you get rid of that, of the little step that you take before you get to the right one, until you be able to do this, like this. Straight to the note. Then you change the fret and you do the same thing. If you need it, you can ease yourself into it a bit, you know, go slower as you approach, but then you have to be able to do this straight to the right fret. Okay, and you do it with different string. So second string, change frets, and like that. Okay, you can use in the very beginning, you can use kind of an approach, as I said. Maybe not that much, okay, but this is kind of okay. But then slowly, you need to get to the note right away, alright, at the first try. So the applications of this are endless. You can use this when you improvise on a string, if you haven't done it yet, you should. I'm gonna have a session on this later on. But you know, you play your scales. C major, and then can you do C, Lydian, C minor, C, all the modes if you know them. If you don't know them, just change the string and play C major again. Can you do it with the third finger consistently, and then you can do it with the little finger, up, down, all the frets. And this is really important because first of all you learn the notes on the neck real well. And the second thing is when you're playing improvising, you never know with which finger you have to move. And so that way you're always, you have to go from 3 to 7 with the second finger, it's alright. And if I have to move from 5 to 4 with the first finger, that's fine too. Until you get to the point where all fingers can work equally well, you're always going to be limited to what you do when you improvise because you don't have the tools at your disposal. So you know, just do this a lot and then try to incorporate it in your playing. Play a scale, one position you know maybe, C major, slide to the next one, or 2 or 3 up. Let's just do straight away the next one and go back. Slide to the next one and to the next one. Like that, you just go up, down, like that. Just make up your own exercises. The idea is really work on your slides because they're a super important way of expressing yourself on the instrument. They can really make a whole lot of difference between a melody that's played mechanically with a pick and using slides. Alright, so good luck. Leave me a message if you have any questions, and I'll see you next week. Alright, thanks.